Timta, Abdul Koshayuat Biwasamus Patimta. So this is the SF-181 experience of Ta. And can you say the rest of your appellation, please?
Ahochi Tahuti L. Ptah Ahochi Tahuti L. I'm a white male autochthon.
At Zoom. So when you found out about the SF-181 being white, what went through your mind when you heard that Black people, African Americans, are actually white?
It was it was the nail that put in the coffin, so to say. It was assurance that I had this to know that this is a cover-up, that something was covering up something. And when I started looking at the SF-181 and really read it, I see that it's kind of hiding something there. It's hiding something. It's a caste system. This is America's caste system. And I just wanted to put myself in the right position.
And when you heard that Barack Obama said the word black has no standing at law, what went through your mind when you heard that?
I remember that. I seen that. I didn't know what this. Basically, when I heard that, it was like, what do we mean? And why did he say that? And a lot of questions arise. It was just shocking. I remember when came into presidency, Eric was saying he's the first Black president. And when he said he's consider himself Black, it was just like, what is he saying? So, it's just pretty wild. I would like to ask him, what did he mean? I would like to ask him that. What exactly did he mean? From my understanding, what you was talking about. But
All right. And so when you hear the definition of black and you saw the definition of black, what and how there's no black racial groups of Africa, what did that make you think when you saw that? What did you
um,
feel?
well, in 2009, I really kind of understand about definition and etymology about different words and things like that. And 2009 and 10, I started going into that. And then when I came into this slide of the SF1 and I'm looking at the definition, I reverted back to that and listening to your teaching, Chief Nanya, it brought a new lens. So I took that lens and I went over everything that I used to look at. And so to say, yeah, I took the lenses that you kind of, when I listened to your videos, I put them on and I started looking at things in the past through those lenses, and then I started connecting the dots. And I understood that when he said Black has no standing in law, and then also the Dred Scott case never been overturned, it lined up. They lined up. And the biggest thing that really kind of hit me when it says a person having origins of any other original people, a person having origin in any other original racial groups of Africa.
Oh no, you mean black? No, the black is a person having origins in any of the black racial
Black
groups of
racial
Africa.
group. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, any of the black racial groups of Africa, excuse me. And I didn't like that because I never heard no one say black racial groups of Africa. It was always Ifa, Tamaray, Yoruba. It was those terms that connected them to the land and their culture. So black, it was just an adjective. So I got wind of that and wanted to separate from that. That's what
When
I
you
think.
heard the definition of white, what's the definition of white?
Definition of white. Any person having origin with any of the original people, Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Now, when they said Europe, okay, they said Europe. But then when you look at Europe, Europe was named after Ethiopian princess called Europa. So that make you think that the Ethiopians had something to do with that. And they looked at like us. And that's in East North Africa, I believe. It's in
Correct.
East North Africa. So that's, not it was everything was scattered. And it was I feel that it was up to me to listen to someone who put the pieces together and follow that line.
So now then when you hear much appreciated, when you hear the word white, now knowing what you know, and you hear black people still calling themselves black, what is it that you think? What does that, how does that make you feel?
Uh that I'm in a sea of dead people. And because I'm gonna say it like this. I understood I had to do some research of my own, go within and just reorganize the way I perceived it. And it made sense. So if a person, I'm like, I can't help them if they get a little of it. They gotta have some of it, want it. They gotta want it. And, that is that's a hard question to answer, but it's not really a hard question to answer. It's sad. I feel sad.
Okay.
I feel sad, that people don't see it, and what can I do? Is keep going my route, and hope
Very, very.
they'll see what I'm doing and they'll see some light in it. And that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years and more so within the last 3 months as I've been going to your webinars. It's been like more focused.
So how did you feel when you now realize that the word white is yours, that you can identify with that? What went through your mind? How did you feel? What kind of emotions arose?
I okay, in 2010, I kind of went off into a lot of Bobby Hemmitt's and occult things. And I hear about ancient Kemet that they had this white brotherhood. So, what they're talking in these ancient writers, they speak about white and they're speaking about them being this white brotherhood. So when I seen that, that they were taking that white and trying to separate it from the people who are the white ones and trying to usurp it, I kind of like, okay, then so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take it back. I can take it back, especially if when I do the research and it's evident that yes, I'm descended from these places and much more, the whole planet, So how can I end this? And in closing, it's
How have you felt?
emancipating.
Pardon?
It's freeing, it's emancipating.
That's what I was getting to. So it's emancipating being white.
Yeah, it's like okay, it was like this in the first, what is this? Then I did my research. It's like, oh, yeah. And so I'm just like yeah. It's epiphany. Just like, oh yeah, that is what is
So,
right there.
all white. So now you knowing that you're white, do you have any resistance when you hear the word white in terms of, oh, that's over there, that's not me?
No, I say, you mean pale? Maybe I misinterpret your question. Are you saying that when I hear someone say to them, that's the white man over there?
Yes.
I would say, you mean the pale man? That's just my thing. I would say let's get the etymology and the terms right and say, well, basically beige. they're pale, they're not white. So, I just try to correct the terminology. I don't I don't want to go off into it because then it gets really wild.
Great. So your life, how has it been from being black to now knowing that you're white? What has been the change? What have you noticed since you know you're white, Autochton, since you know you're white?
Chief Nanya, since I been reading your information and sharing your information, speaking your information, people are getting away from me. I don't know, they don't want to have nothing to say to me. Uh,
And it's not a bad thing. It just, but remember, the people who avoid you, aren't those the very same people who say there's got to be something done? There has to be a solution. What can we do?
yes,
And then when you say get white and you give them, you don't just say get white, you give them the information saying, hey, we got tricked into calling ourselves something that has no connection to our DNA. And then when you do that, what is their response, even after you've given them the solution?
I their response is very, oh, wait a minute now. Uh, it's not a good response. It's not a response that I'm looking for. Because if I'm speaking to someone and they're speaking about something that's ailing them, and then you give them the aid and they refuse the aid, I kind of like get away from them. I don't want to have so much time to deal with them. But if some people I have spoken, your information, shared it, they're like, wow, this guy is talking and then the ones who don't, I just leave them alone. So like now, since I'm going this path, it's really like people just getting out my way. They're just getting out my way. Let's see what he's gonna say. Let's see what he's gonna do. And also I just had a meeting just last week, and I pointed this out to them, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it.
A meeting with who?
A meeting with organization in Skid Row that I'm with, which is called the Skid Row Arts Alliance, and we do art in Skid Row. And so we're having an event, a 2-day event, the Skid Row Festival for all Skid Row artists. I'm the music conductor there. It's a blessing that I'm there now. But there was
A blessing. You mean a blessing?
a blessing. It's a blessing that I'm at that position now.
Yes.
There was an artist there, I forgot his name, but he goes in hard and he used the word nigger, right? And this and that, And so these are predominantly pale people in these organizations, but the people who's coming there are carbonated, they the artists, right? So these pale people, by me being on the board with them, these people said, well, I don't know about this guy. He used the word N-word a lot, la, la. And I said, but hold on, there's a part of people that said that the N-word is not bad, It's not, it's derived from the Nigers, the Niger River. There are people who have Niger gods. They have understanding of Niger gods. So it's not like it's a bad word. It's just only the people who don't want to expose where this information is coming from, and probably the same people who are holding people captives and usurping their energy. They don't want them to know something. They all looked at me and said they really got pale. They got scared, because I was promoting him. I said, yeah, I don't care if he says nigger or not. It's not a big thing to me because he's expressing himself, and every right he can do that. So why would you say that he can't say that because you got something against the word and you're not even a nigger? So they backed up and let it go. And I said, if he want to come on and say the word, and you guys are saying that this is a PG-13, that word is not, to me, it's not. And to him, it's not. And to many other people, it's not. So I don't think that just because you're taking a political stance on the word, it doesn't fit with the people. They shut up and didn't say nothing.
So that was your white power moment.
Yeah, it would. it was weird. It's
That's white power.
white power.
That is
It
white
is
power.
white power.
So, so you can honestly say that looking at your life, let's say a year ago to now, total night and day, a whole different path you're walking, and you're seeing. I'm asking. I'm not. Are you? You're. It sounds to me like you're now seeing the world for what it is, whereas a year ago you were in. Okay. Yes. I just let me hear.
I was in the world, but not we're basically I was in the world and probably being of it. But now I see that, I can operate in this world, but not of that, whatever that's going on down there, or operate outside of that. Um, it's
Fabulous.
it's very emancipating. Yeah, I don't feel no superiority over nobody. It's just that, I feel good about how I feel myself. And and a lot of I had a conversation with someone. They were speaking about when people put themselves on a pedestal that is bad. And this person was a person of he was of mixed race. He's of mixed race. But in other words, he was trying to speak about being humble. I okay, I understand being humble, but it's for a minute, you got to be cool for a while, but then if it get bad, you got to stand up and say something about it. So
Agreed. So
I'm
what?
standing
So
up and
what?
saying something.
Pardon?
So I'm standing up and saying something about it now,
So
Not-
what are you saying to the world about being black?
that is a curse. It's putting you on the low of the pedestal. You're If you know anything about the Vedas, you're considered a Derivian, the untouchables. That's a society that nobody wants to deal with, and this is what is happening to the black race now.
So what is their solution? So what is their solution?
Why? They got get in contact with you, Chief Nanya, and get white. That's the solution. And understand the etymology of words that we're using, and read these forms. You know, I felt so bad. I'm gonna say this is real. I felt bad when I read it, and I really looked at the definition of Black and African American, and I was just scratching that off, back then. And then now when I'm looking at it now, I'm like, you know, I just let them just categorize me, even though my grandmother and mother told me that I'm not a black man or an African American, that I'm Indian. You know, uh, I'm glad I'm
So,
woke.
and so now the short phrase, you just said it before, what's the solution?
I am white. Get white.
At Zoom. All right, so much appreciated, Ta. This is your SF21 experience video, and the world will see this. Kashikadur, kashikadur, kashikadur.
Hashikador. White power. Thank you, Chief Nanya.